Hey there, friends. CJ here. And lately I've been thinking, and it's a good thing that I've been thinking because if I hadn't been, then my brain wouldn't be working very well now, would it? But anyway, enough about my brain. Um, I've been thinking about the RTP that's included with RPG Maker. Now, obviously, there are different versions of RTP depending on whether you're using RPG Maker 2003 or VX or XP, whatever version you happen to be using. But I'm thinking about all the pages I've seen for RPG Maker games that are sold on Steam, pages I've seen on RPG Maker websites where creators, developers upload their games. I'm thinking about web forum posts that I've seen, and how all over the place there are a lot of people who, if they see a game uses RTP, they want to rag on it. Now, a couple things. I'm going to be as fair as possible. I'm not just targeting one side or the other. The RTP includes a number of resources. It includes tile sets that you can use for basic graphics on your maps, on your rooms and overworld and dungeons and so on and so forth. It includes music, songs, compositions that you can use in your game, sound effects, battle backs, the tongue twister there, backgrounds for your battles in your game, and other resources like title screens and a game over screen, whatever. It's a pretty lengthy list. A lot of people argue that use of RTP is lazy, that developers should spend time either writing their own music and making their own graphics or using resources that are less commonly used. I do think that that's optimal if the developer has a background in game design and development or is learning and has a genuine feel for what looks good and what sounds good. But I can't help but think I've played a lot of games that at least make some use of RTP. Commercially, Skyborn uses some RTP, and according to my eyeball test anyway, I think I saw some things that were RTP recolors that looked pretty good. And the fact that it used RTP didn't affect my enjoyment of the game. Now, another person might argue, yeah, but if there wasn't that little bit of RTP there, it would be even better. And also, that game is still good to you because it only uses some RTP. Just a little bit in comparison to games where they use tons and tons of RTP entirely or almost entirely. Now, I can't deny that if the resources are already made and the developer doesn't have to spend time thinking about selecting less popular resources or less used resources, and everything's right there prepackaged, that certain elements of the game are, I don't want to say ignored, but they don't spend time on it. They don't have to think about presenting their story in that certain nuanced way that they couldn't have any other way, any way else. So what do I think? I think I've played some RTP games that I like. But here's the thing. As I play more and more games that use RTP, I hear those same songs again, those compositions rather. If I know my lingo, a song has to have lyrics in it, otherwise the proper term is composition. If there are any other musicians out there who want to comment on those definitions, please feel free to do so. On the other hand, I hear those songs, those compositions again and again. It's like, okay, I already heard this. Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, it fits this dungeon. Yeah, it fits this cutscene. But I've experienced this before. And it makes me think, what if I play a mostly or entirely RTP-based game, and I would have enjoyed it more if I'd gotten to that one first, but I played a bunch of other RTP games first, and because of that, I'm not appreciating this game as much as I otherwise would. Maybe that's the case. as I said, I noticed that when it comes to music, I had a conversation with someone recently where they were arguing that they would never purchase an RPG Maker game if it used RTP graphics, but they also added that if it used some RTP music, someone somewhere out there is playing a drinking game where every time they hear me say RTP, they take a glass, or a shot glass, whatever. Uh, so he was arguing that, oh, if they use some RTP music, I don't mind, but if they use graphics at all, not buying. And I'm thinking for me, it's more likely that if they use the graphics, I don't mind. But if they use too much of the music, then that's a bit much for me. But you know what? I'm an audio guy. I'm more of an audio guy than a visual guy. So maybe that's the reason why I feel that way. And maybe that person is more of a visual person than an audio person. Of course, at the end of the day, whether a developer uses RTP or not, it's about the story they tell and how good they are at telling you that story. Are their cutscenes compelling? Is the story properly paced, or do they throw all of the plot right at you at the end of the game? I saw some posts on Steam where someone was arguing there's a game that, to be honest, I never played it, but it's an RPG Maker based game called like Charles Barkley's Shut Up and Jam Gaiden. I believe Gaiden's the correct pronunciation. Pardon me. And I was thinking this person was saying that if you keep playing these old school style JRPGs that were made in RPG Maker, that you should stop playing those, instead play this Charles Barkley game. And for all I know, that Charles Barkley game may be really good. I have no idea because I never played it. I know a lot of people like it. But how many people who love classic Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy style JRPGs, who keep buying and downloading those style RPG Maker games, how many of them are going to put down what they're playing and play the Charles Barkley game? And go, yeah, I was wrong. This Charles Barkley game's where it's at. I need this unique experience and those knights and red mages and walking along the overworld, getting golden experience points, the old-fashioned... I don't know, maybe you do that in the Charles Barkley game. I have no idea. Enough of that, I need to upgrade myself. You know what? I think it's subjective. I think that taste in gaming are just so subjective. And, I've been playing RPGs forever since I was young, and I still play them, I still love them, and they're still probably my favorite genre. Probably my favorite kind of game. So I've been replaying very similar experiences again and again, still enjoying myself, still very happy. So, anyway, I'll wrap this up. I'll ask you. You can leave a comment if you'd like. I'd be happy to have a conversation with you. I'm not the kind of person to jump down anyone's throat if they disagree with me, so no worries about that. I'd like to have a cool, nice, courteous conversation. And, does RTP bother you? Will you not play a game if you see there's RTP in screenshots or video promoting the game or something like that? Because in my case, I'll play it, but I do wonder if there will be a point sometime in the future in which I'll say, I've already seen those tiles. I've already heard the music enough. It has to be different. Will I be there one day? My friends, who knows?